Welcome to Learn or Be Learned. We've been working on this project for a while now, and we're finally ready to share it with you. It's been under works for a good minute, and if you're on YouTube or Spotify, congratulations, you're watching the first video podcast of Learn or Be Learned. This is the setup that I've been working on. This is the other project for season 2. Season 2 is going to have video podcasting, but before that, this is the mini-series about real estate and real estate investing, mindset, all of that with my two good buddies that are great realtors. They share not only their mindsets about buying your first home, buying your first rental property, the mindset of scaling and money and how all this works. But it's also the first time that we got to do a big project together, got to do a whole video podcasting, and I learned a lot. That's kind of why that's why everything's been so, inconsistent, I could say. So, I appreciate your patience and your support and, sharing these videos and episodes. And I'm really excited to share this with you guys, honestly. And, please let me know what you guys think. And, without further ado, let's get right into this mini series, 6 episodes. We actually recorded them all in one batch, and, rookie mistake, live and learn, but I cut them in segments, but I didn't properly address the ending of each episode. So some of the episodes are like, some of the episodes have all right, catch you in the next episode. And then some of them are just cut right there abruptly. So, live and learn, but I think it was still really awesome, which I'd love to hear what you guys think. And, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Thanks. All right, welcome back, everybody, to a interesting and awesome episode. As you can see, it's a little different. We have this awesome studio set up thanks to these two great friends of mine, Ramu and Nithin. They are both realtors, and he came all the way from Austin. Nithin drove down here, and Ramu and I have been friends for a while now, and he wanted to also hop on and share some knowledge. I'm so glad to have you both on here. If you guys could just share a little bit about yourselves so the audience knows, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for having us here, Shiva. Ramu, thanks for having us in your beautiful house. So my name is Nithin Thomas. I'm from Austin. I currently have a real estate company that I run called Nithin Thomas Consulting. It is part of JLA Realty, and we provide real estate consulting services from the front end to the back end, and we're known for basically being by your side every step of the way.
Very
Awesome.
nice. Well, I'd sign up with you. My name is Ramu Velu. I am also a realtor. I'm with Team Velu Realty, a brokerage owned by my dad, Velu Raman. Our family's been in the real estate business in DFW for over 15 years. Not only do we support people with the traditional brokerage services, like buying and selling homes, we have a sister company that helps people invest in real estate, which is our primary bread and butter. For example, assets under management, or the amount of money that people have invested through us, is north of $25 million. So just to kind of give you an example of where our company is, we've been around the block, and we've helped several people get very close to retirement through passive income through real estate. So I'm very excited to be here with my two good friends, Shiva and Nithin, to talk about real estate. Yeah. Let's get started.
Okay, great. So I think some background information would be helpful, right? So what made you want to get into this and why?
Should I go first?
Oh, whoever. I can go first.
Go for it, yeah.
The most number of millionaires made in the United States are made through real estate. And that is a very popular reason why we see a huge number of people getting into real estate, either as their primary career or their side gig. If not, at the very least, investing in real estate. It's also something that everybody has to touch in their lifetime. If you don't want to touch the stock market in your lifetime or bond market, you don't have to, right? Some of us are involuntarily somewhat acquainted to it because of our 401k or something through our employer. But everybody needs a place to live. Everybody needs not anymore, but in the past, everybody needed an office to go to, right? Now you have home offices. Yeah. You cannot exist without being integrated into real estate. It's something that you live in and around. So it's such an integral part of our lives, which which is why I'm involved in real estate. You talk about having a big market. Everybody needs it, right? There's enough business for as many people that want to get into this industry. And that's something I love about real estate is that we'll help our competitors. We'll help other realtors, other brokerages with legitimate free advice.
Why?
Because we just understand that there's enough out there for all of us. And of course, there's a little bit of selfishness in there as well. In that, well, if I'm really nice to you and you suddenly get dissatisfied with your brokerage, well, someone else has been very, hey, come join my brokerage, right?
I scratched your back,
You scratch mine.
Yeah.
You can always have referrals, right? Cross businesses where we partner together because we need to have that diversification and representation, etc. So that's something I love about this industry. It's not cutthroat. It's very friendly. And if you love people, it is the industry to be in. Why did you get into real estate?
Actually, you kind of mentioned, you said it's an integral part of your life, right? Before real estate, I was in finance. I studied finance. And so getting into real estate, there was this natural cycle of like understanding numbers, analytics. It was like a natural calling from that sense. But the biggest reason that I decided that real estate is going to be my bread and butter for the next 30, 40 years of my life was when I realized that there's a need that needs to be met. And there's people that are not meeting that need, right? You have, when you go to a doctor's office, when you go to a CPA, when you go to a lawyer, the service you get is far more, like you expect a service that is just like of high quality. And the reality is Realtor, the brand Realtor has that same weight. And I feel like not a lot of people have experienced it. And, we were talking about this offline about the first interaction we typically have with buyers is, what can you give me? And the narration should be is like, how can you help me get to the next stage of my life, right? We always talk about buying a home being the biggest financial decision in someone's life. And we are playing a key and integral role in directing that. So as I said, like integral role. So having that need understood, I realized there's like, I want to be there. I want to take care of people, right? My vision is to bridge individuals one step closer to their dreams. And you think about it, it's like, so it makes sense to me. So I realized this is where I will like wake up in the morning and, I will have a reason to get up. So that's why.
Absolutely. You mentioned something, helping people make one of the biggest, if not the biggest, financial decisions of their lives. That has a lot of responsibility on our shoulders as realtors, right? And we have a fiduciary duty to our clients. But it's not just about getting one step closer to their goal. Sometimes you kind of have to reel them back and help them reassess their goals. Some people want a bigger house than they can afford, and people can find a way to afford it in the short term, but it might be detrimental to them in the long term. Yeah. And just advising them financially, even though we're not financial advisors, right? You always got to give those disclaimers. We're not tax advisors. We're not financial advisors.
Take a quick break
and do all the disclaimers.
Just so you know, we're not accountants, lawyers, we're just real estate agents.
Yeah.
Which is a reality that we have to make sure.
But we have to wear so many hats, right? And so we have to make recommendations and present them and also provide contacts for our clients to verify our word for themselves, because we cannot advise them directly. But we do end up being in a position to advise them on a lot of these things. Like we spend a lot of time in our brokerage doing financial preparation and sometimes even financial planning, sometimes to the level of like monthly budgeting for our clients. And these conversations get very intimate, right? Mm-hmm. You're sitting down with somebody. How much money do you make? How much money do you spend? What are your debts? Where did you collect these debts from? How fast can you pay them back? What are your priorities? In an hour, you probably know more about them than maybe their parents do, right. In a financial sense. Mm-hmm.
Which is a very intimate sense, right? Not a lot of people share their finances or their financial life.
Yeah.
So it's a very intimate and vulnerable state to share with you. So it's got to be taken in that kind of weight, right?
Exactly. And there's this right after I became a realtor, fun fact is if you guys ever go check out my YouTube channel or anything like that, the background, there's a poster that says realtor. And at the very bottom, it says a full-time psychologist who shows houses every now and then. The reality is these people who like show up to us, they're random strangers. Within a matter of 1 month, we're like to the point where we know about their kids, the things that, tick off the other parts of the members. And we become so close that we're getting invited to their parties. And we understand that level of relationship comes with a lot of weight. And you're not just, it's not just a transaction anymore. It is a family, a story, people, memories, milestones to be made, milestones that were given up to be here. And you realize that, and you're like, oh, you're playing that key integral part in their life, in their journey, and you're just that one segment. And I take that really seriously when it comes to it. So
You said, we're one segment. Hopefully we're a recurring segment, right? if we do our jobs right.
This is a one and done thing.
Yeah.
it's true. We are running a business, right? But that thing should be for the people at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of books that also kind of talk about that thing, right? Like The Go-Giver, Jab, Jab, Right Hook, I think by Gary Vee. It's all those books, what they talk about is changing the perspective of business in a form of contribution, right? Changing your perspective of why am I doing this as for, how can I contribute to people? What is a large contribution I can make? And generally what, a byproduct that comes with that is, I think, the more contribution you make in society, the larger status, money, everything else follows, right? So it should never be your biggest goal if you want to really aspire for great change.
I forgot who is attributed to this quote, but there's a great quote. You can have everything you want if you provide enough value to enough people. If you can add enough value to enough people, you will be rewarded in the marketplace. And it's all about the ratio that you provide should always outweigh your compensation. As long as you do that, people are happy to pay you. You talk about when we provide some very high quality, secure investments with consistent returns, we get paid handsomely for that. But there's not many people or many other groups or institutions that are accessible to somebody who's middle class to provide such safe, steady investments. So they're willing to pay us a fair compensation for that, because they cannot get this service anywhere else. Right. The returns for them are that good that they don't mind paying us this percentage.
Mm-hmm. So I want to direct this towards the audience, and as we all know, this is a short mini-series where they will be talking about various subjects, and I kind of want to ask, why should the audience care? Why should they care about real estate? Like I know you've already mentioned things like it can be one of the biggest decisions in your life in terms of finances. That's a reason. But, in terms of helping the viewers or, creating curiosity for the people out there that maybe want to become realtors or invest in real estate, why should somebody care about this stuff?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll definitely start. So why should you care about real estate? At the end of the day, it depends on what your life goals are. Ramu made a great point offline, which was real estate is not meant for everyone, and that really something that resonated with me today when I heard it, because the reality is there may be like single family townhomes, like different type of properties out there, but at the end of the day, it's like picking your dream car. But the only difference here is you're spending $100,000. And it's that level of money takes a lot of time, and time is valuable, the most precious resource we have, right? So real estate is not for everybody. It takes a different breed of people with a different type of mindset, a different type of values that are looking into real estate. There are investors, buyers, flippers, people who want to, like Zillow, for example, who literally was a tech company that got into flipping and obviously turned that into a big flop. So in that same sense, it's not meant for everyone, but that's why we're here. Like the reason realtors came into existence in a highly regulated industry is to make sure the people who come to get into real estate are like given the fiduciary duty of like right information, and they are given the consultation to buy the right property, even if it is their decision to buy. Sometimes when people might call, it's like, hey, should I buy this property? And some realtors like buy, and that's when there's no like clear evidence that person's doing the right job. Because if a realtor can say maybe it's not the right time to buy, maybe think about it from this perspective and consult them and get them to the point where.
Can I interject?
Yeah, definitely.
So there's a saying in real estate: no sale is a bad sale. It just depends on what you pay for it. If I come to you and there's this dilapidated house, and after repair value, let's say, is $100,000, and I say you should buy this for $90,000, you'd be like, probably not. I need to put $30,000 into this house. That doesn't make any sense. Where's my profit? That's a loss. So obviously, don't buy. But what if I came and said, hey, I'll sell this to you for $25,000. Whoa, that's suddenly a different deal, right? So it's all about what number makes it a good deal. Not necessarily don't buy, right? When clients come to us and say, should I buy this? I'll say, let me get back to you on what I think you should pay for it. And then we'll talk about it and make a market assessment, right? Based off of a couple of different factors. And then we'll place the offer. And if it doesn't come in, we have a margin that's preset that we're willing to negotiate in. And if it doesn't hit that, then we have a conversation. Hey, this has reached a point where it is no longer about economic value. This is about emotion. Are you emotional about this home? If you are, then we keep playing the negotiating game. If you are not emotional, we walk away. Because some people are very attached to a location, a house, a design. Maybe their cousin lives in the neighborhood, and maybe their childhood friend is 5 minutes away. And so it's worth more than the price. And that's the free market, right? But for most people, 90% of buyers, oh no, I want to buy a house that's worth it, right? So I'm going to walk away. So it's all about the number, in my opinion, right? So, but if a realtor does say, just buy whatever they ask, right? List price, just pay it. We're just trying to close the transaction. Maybe we should, reconsider who's your realtor. Those are some questions you should probably ask, right? When you're interviewing, what is your decision-making process in advising your client about a purchase decision?
That's a very good last point, because at the end of the day, when you think about the price point, right, the number, there's always an emotion behind it, like regardless of what number it is. Like you mentioned, the margins, the translation of starting from like, this is where we are. If it gets to the point where emotion steps in, then you got to make that decision, like build that hierarchy of like decision making. I feel like those type of realtors who can have that conversation, like between you and me, for example, is that it allows the buyer to have an open mind and feel safe in the space. It's like we are the board of directors that they come to like figure out, hey, is this the right choice? Like, that's where we come from. And if we do it without influence, we're like, oh, you should buy that home. That is the home for you. Versus we show them, this is what you have given me based on our conversations. This is the result. And then we build a story behind it. This is what you can create. And if that story doesn't align with what they want it to be for their theory or thesis, then that's not the home for them. Like that's literally has happened to me many times.
Right.
That's I think is what like I feel like why someone should decide if it is for them or not to buy the home.
Mm-hmm.
Is what do you want? What is it they're gonna get out of it? Does it make sense when you put it all together?
So, earlier Nithin was saying people that enter real estate, right, or have a certain type of personality or a certain type of person, right? Now, it's not for everybody. And then you mentioned earlier about essentially the idea of abundance, right? And I think that kind of plays into what he's talking about is certain type of people. Now, in your line of work, do you end up seeing either on the consumer side or the business side people that aren't so abundance mindset type of people? Do you happen to notice?
All the time. If you're talking about our clients, both sides, yes, there's always, if I can, I'm not going to mince my words. Okay, that's okay. So something for the audience to know, at lunch today, we were joking around about how blunt I am. So I will continue being blunt in this. So you were talking about somebody who has a scarcity mindset. Right. If somebody comes into this industry and has a scarcity mindset, this is not the industry for them, right? You cannot win if you have a scarcity mindset. If you try to cut corners in real estate, you will pay the price, literally. If you try to rehab a house and don't pay for a good contractor or don't pay for the right materials, now you have a fixed house that still looks somewhat broken or off that nobody wants. And so somebody wants to come and tear what you did down and redo it. So they're going to offer you a price at that rate, which is not going to be what you want to sell it for. That's one. And then two, talk about a waste of material. That's waste of resources. Yeah. And I feel like that's sometimes the biggest sin is wasting resources, precious, people's time. Even if you paid for something, but you did it haphazardly and you had to tear it down and break it and put it in the trash, I feel like what a waste, right? We should be conserving. Mm-hmm. So coming back to your question about people with scarcity mindsets. If you're in the industry and you have a scarcity mindset, It's a self-filtration system. They're going to come in and they're going to walk out unless they change their mind. And I would encourage everybody who comes into this industry, especially this industry or any other industry, have an open mindset, have an abundance mindset. There's plenty for everybody, and really understand the game. When you figure out the game and you understand the numbers, it really calms you down. But there's thousands of theories out there, and finding the right one can sometimes be difficult. Right. On the client side, scarcity is the default that you find everybody in, right? If you find an abundant buyer, I think you just lucked out. Or most probably, they're a return buyer, and you've cultivated that relationship. Yeah. The people who have an abundance mindset with us, who are investors or even single-family home purchasers, are typically people who are past clients, or we've advised financially on the investment side in the past. So there's a high level of trust, so they come to us for that level of service. But I spend a lot of time, especially on the investment side, for the newer investors that are getting into the game. Oh my God, huge mental block with scarcity. What if I lose everything? Is that possible? Yes, it is always possible to lose everything. Is it probable? Not very probable, right? Yeah. And people are going, well, what about that 1% chance? What about that 0.1% chance that we lose everything? I'm like, well, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. I could get struck by lightning.
Right.
You know,
just living in probabilities.
You know, do you know what the most dangerous thing you do in your life is?
What?
Analysis paralysis?
Driving a car.
Yeah, that is true.
Statistically, it is the most dangerous thing most people will do. It's actually more dangerous than being on a plane or a boat.
Yeah, that's true.
But we drive a car at least once a day or more.
Yeah.
You know, on average.
Yeah. Or if you're in Nithin's car, it's probably higher probability of danger.
Well, why is that, Nithin? No, Nithin drives all over town. That's a joke. He's a safe driver.
Average, I put in about 60 miles a day. So.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah.
With these gas prices?
Yeah, dude. Oh. But I'm getting, we get the tax deductions from the every time we do business miles. So,
right.
So anyway, you're paying yourself. So that's why one of the reasons why becoming a realtor is also beneficial, because you're a business owner. Mm-hmm. So that's a big, huge benefit.